Tonight, we are going to travel to a place where the clocks do not tick and the world of noise cannot reach. We are travelling north, past the tree lines, past the last flickering lights of the Siberian coast, and into the heart of the Kara Sea. We are looking for a tiny speck of land, a place the Russians call Ostrov Uyedinenia. In English, we call it Lonely Island. Imagine yourself standing in the centre of the Kara Sea, a vast, marginal sea of the Arctic Ocean. To your west lies the rugged arc of Novaya Zemlya, and to your east, the mysterious archipelago of Severnaya Zemlya. But here, in the vast blue-white expanse between them, there is only one small speck of solid ground. Lonely Island is a true solitary, sitting nearly 300 kilometres from any other land. It is a tiny sanctuary of 20 square kilometres, lost in a frozen ocean. The island is humble in its stature, a low-lying world composed mostly of sand and silt. From above, it looks like a teardrop frozen in time, with a long, narrow spit of land reaching out toward the northeast, shielding a quiet lagoon from the fury of the open sea. There are no mountains here to climb, no jagged peaks to conquer. The highest point is a mere 30 metres above the water. It is a flat, peaceful horizontal plain where the sky and the sea seem to meet in an endless embrace. As you walk across the tundra, your feet sink slightly into the soft, mossy earth. The island is part of the Great Arctic State Nature Reserve, a place where the wild is truly protected. The air is still, save for the distant, low-frequency groan of the pack ice that traps the island for 9 months of every year. In this place, the average annual temperature is a constant, rhythmic -16 degrees Celsius. Even at the height of summer, the temperature rarely rises to just over freezing. It is a world in a deep, beautiful freeze. The island's silence hides secrets that stretch back millions of years. In the early 1930s, explorers discovered something miraculous in the island's silt, the cervical vertebra of a prehistoric dragon. This was a Plesiosaurus latispinus, a marine reptile that once swam in the very waters where the ice now grinds. These long-necked predators, with their 4 powerful flippers, were the apex rulers of the Jurassic and Cretaceous oceans. Imagine this island not as a frozen speck, but as a shallow, warm sea teeming with life. The plesiosaur would have glided through these waters with a slow, rhythmic elegance, its smooth skin shimmering in a sun that was far more constant than it is today. Finding its remains here serves as a reminder that this lonely patch of sand has been part of the Earth's story for 150 million years, long before the first human ever looked north. Despite the cold, life persists in a slow, careful rhythm. The island is a polar desert, but it is not empty. In the short summer, the tundra comes alive with lichens and mosses. You might see the hardy polar poppy nodding its head in the wind, its yellow petals a stark contrast to the grey silt. The few plant species that can survive here do so in flourishing abundance, often exhibiting adaptations like furry leaves or clumpy growth for insulation. Low-growing herbs like icegrass and mountain pincushion find their sanctuary here, clinging to the ground to avoid the biting Arctic gales. The flora of Lonely Island is a testament to resilience, blooming in the cracks of a world that is frozen for most of the year. The fauna of the Kara Sea is as specialised as it is majestic. Polar bears, the emblematic predators of the north, are the undisputed kings of the island. They use these shores as a resting point during long journeys across the pack ice and occasionally make their maternity dens in the harsh earth. The waters surrounding the island are home to Atlantic walruses, ringed seals, and bearded seals. The bearded seal is often solitary, diving deep to feed on benthic animals like crabs and sea cucumbers. Beluga whales enter the area in large numbers during the summer months, while the critically endangered bowhead whale occasionally passes through the northern Kara Sea. High above, the ivory gull, a bird endemic to the high Arctic, can often be seen circling the old radio mast of the abandoned station. These creatures move with a quiet dignity, measuring every movement to conserve energy in the cold. In the 1930s, the Soviet Union saw the strategic value of this solitude and established a polar observatory, which became one of the largest in the Arctic. It was a place for men to live as hermits, sitting out the years, an icy wasteland until they could return to the mainland as saints. Their life was one of meticulous routine. Inside the green wooden barracks, the walls were decorated with palm-patterned wallpaper, a small, colourful rebellion against the monochrome world outside. A photograph of a goateed Lenin hung against this backdrop, watching over the men as they recorded the weather. They measured air pressure, temperature, wind direction, cloud height, and radiation from the skies using instruments that were often crusted with ice. Even here, history found a way to intrude. During World War II, the Kara Sea became a theatre for Operation Wunderland. On September 8, 1942, the dark hull of a German submarine surfaced near the island and fired grenades at the weather station, destroying the barracks and killing the garrison. It was one of the final manoeuvres of the German Navy in the region. The observatory was eventually rebuilt during the Cold War, larger and more resilient than before, but the island's solitude eventually won. The final human chapter of Lonely Island ended on November 2003, 1996. The last entry in the station's logbook, written in red felt-tip pen, tells the story of the end. The evacuation order came today. Pouring the water out. Turned off diesel generator. The final word of the entry is illegible. A mystery swallowed by the cold. Today, the island is part of the Great Arctic State Nature Reserve, established in 1993 to safeguard the habitats of polar bears and migrating birds. No one lives here now. The abandoned buildings doze in the belly of the bay, their windows looking out toward a narrow spit of land beyond the frozen marsh. Provisions left behind remain in a deep freeze, preserved perfectly in the sub-zero air. As we leave Lonely Island, imagine yourself on a boat moving slowly away from the shore. The pancake ice clinks softly against the hull, a metallic, rhythmic sound. The sun is hanging low on the horizon, painting the ice in shades of lavender and gold. The island is receding now, becoming a thin line on the horizon, then a speck, then nothing but a memory. You are safe. You are warm. The vast, quiet power of the Kara Sea is beneath you, and the silence of the north is all around you. The air is still. The world is quiet. Wa at rest. Sleep now. The island is watching the stars for you.